Yep, that's right. It's another video with 3-row SUVs, but look, you guys, y'all keep buying them, so manufacturers keep making them, so we have to keep talking about them. And with this video with the full-size 3-row SUVs, we're gonna get down into the nitty-gritty. Now, yes, we have chosen a winner, but we're gonna talk about some of the categories that might just be a deal breaker for you and see which one comes out on top. Now look, Ford and Chevy have been making big old chonkers like these for a really long time, but Jeep has just recently thrown its hat into the full-size SUV ring. So we gotta know, does the Jeep have what it takes to beat the blue oval and the bow tie at a game they invented? Now don't worry, we are going to give you an overall winner, but we're also gonna tell you which truck is the best when it comes to comfort, cargo, technology, and value. Oh, and we'll also drive them, don't worry, we'll talk about MPGs too. Yeah, we got that. But first, y'all know the drill. Be sure to like and subscribe. And if you want any more information on any of these vehicles here, I've got links in the description and you can go to Edmunds.com. All right, let's start off with interior and comfort. Now, normally we judge these separately, but I mean, come on, they're pretty interdependent. All right, let's go. Now, I'm here in the Wagoneer, and if you've only experienced Jeep from a Wrangler point of view, trust me, you are going to be so surprised. I've got plenty of soft touch surfaces here. There is lots of leather. The cabin is very open and airy. I mean, from the driver's side here, everything just looks and feels really premium. And that's a good thing because trust me, this thing ain't cheap, but we're gonna get to that in a minute. Now, if these front seats have a weakness, it's just that they feel like a little bit more narrow and a little bit more firm than what we have in the Chevy and the Ford. Both of those have seats that are really plush, really truck-like seats. But I love my driving position here, and only the Jeep has 4-way lumbar support. Now, standard in the Wagoneer, you get heated and cooled front seats, plus a tri-zone HVAC system. And listen, as someone who loves heated seats, they're so good in here. I mean, I got hot cross buns all day long. But here's what I really don't like. All of these controls here in the center. First of all, it's angled away from me and I want it angled upwards and towards me. And I do like that I get these clicky buttons for the drive modes and the air suspension, but the 4-wheel drive low button, it's a haptic feedback button. And I've already accidentally brushed against it and the vehicle was like, 4-wheel drive low, put it in neutral. And I'm like, I'm in the parking lot. And it was just really annoying. Make it a regular button. And check out the third row of the Wagoneer. This is the most space of any of our competitors. I've got plenty of knee room, plenty of headroom. In fact, I think some of my coworkers who are 6 feet tall, they could get back here without ducking. Now, getting in and out, it's pretty easy. You just press this button here. Voila, it slides forward for you. And here's the kicker, y'all. It reclines. Oh yeah. All right, moving on to the Chevrolet Tahoe. I do like that I've got some big chunky buttons in here, dials that are really easy to grip. I also have a push button transmission. It's actually a push and a pull button transmission, depending on what gear you want to go into. Anyway, not my favorite feature. However, sitting here with these comfy seats and all of these padded surfaces, it's a nice place to be, even though the design is just a little bit more dated than what you'll find in the Wagoneer. But to get to that third row, you have to fold the second row down and then flip it up. And that's like way too many steps and I am super lazy. But the good news is that there is enough room to just go right in between those captain's chairs. But once you get back here, I mean, there might be technically a little bit less space than what's in the Wagoneer, but I think you'd have to be well over 6 feet tall to actually feel it. The bummer, it doesn't recline. So the Ford's got the most truck-like interior. I mean, look, there's so much plastic. I really like how comfortable the seats are, but it's taken me a while to kind of futz around to get my driving position correct, and it's still not all that great. Everything in this trim is controlled by this screen. There are no physical buttons. If you want physical buttons, you're gonna have to go down a trim and get the smaller screen. The HVAC makes a lot of noise, but it doesn't actually seem to be blowing a lot of air out, and these heated seats, not as much juice as the other ones. So in the third row of the Ford, yeah, it's the least amount of room back here, but I will say I've got plenty of leg room, but watch what happens when I recline, like that I've got to recline. If I were any taller, the way this roof slopes back, like I would not be very happy. Plus there's this big giant seatbelt here. And yeah, there's magnets, but like, come on, that's gonna do that, you know it is. Now look, there is absolutely no reason to get any vehicle of this size unless you've got to haul a lot of stuff both inside the vehicle and outside. I'm talking about cargo space, small storage cubbies, and towing. So let's start with cargo space. Behind the third row of the Wagoneer, I've got 27 cubic feet of space. Now y'all might be hauling like more kid-friendly stuff. I haul 12 packs of Diet Dr. Pepper, and if my math is correct, I could theoretically fit 115 packs of Diet Dr. Pepper in the back of the Wagoneer. In the Ford, it's 27 fewer, and in the Tahoe, it's about 8 fewer 12 packs. I mean, come on, a girl needs a Diet Dr. Pepper. Wagoneer all day. All three vehicles allow you to fold the third and the second row seats flat directly here from the trunk, and when you do that, you've got more room than you know what to do with. Inside the Wagoneer, you have a ton of places to stick all of your stuff. I mean, this little cubby here, you can fit 4 phones in here. Plus, I can take my phone and I can put it here in the door. In the armrest, I've got like this little box, this little shallow box up here, but then you open this up and my God, it like echoes in there. Echo, 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 echo. And for your road sodas, you guys, there's like double-digit cup holders in this thing. Ford also gives you a lot of small storage space, not quite as much as what's in the Wagoneer, but I like the way it's laid out. Like, look, I got a little guy up here, like that's pretty cool. And there are 16 cup holders, 16. Chevy though is not doing so well here. I mean, there's just so much less space up front. I can't secure 4 phones in here. And then look at inside this box, like where's the other half of it? I will say one thing, you guys, look at this little sliding thing for your sunglasses. I mean, I'm sorry, that is adorable. Now, there is a lot of room for kids' car seats in all 3, but keep in mind that the second row of the Chevy, it can't tilt and slide, so it doesn't really play well with car seats. But what if you want to, I don't know, take your boat out to the lake or your toys out to the desert? The Wagoneer can be optioned to tow 10,000 pounds. The Tahoe is back down at 8,400 pounds, but the Ford comes a little bit closer at 9,300 pounds. But look, it's not all just about capability, right? I mean, if you're new to towing, you might appreciate the Tahoe. It can be equipped with like 13 cameras so that you can see what's going around your trailer. And Ford has got this awesome Pro Trailer Backup Assist function that kind of takes the guesswork out of backing up a trailer. So if you're new to towing, you might appreciate some of those technologies that you'll find in the Ford or the Chevy. But if you got all your ducks in a row, you might appreciate just the few extra pounds of towing capability that the Wagoneer provides. Now, cars are mostly computers on wheels these days. That's why y'all can't fix them anymore. But hey, let's go over some of the tech features. The tech in the Wagoneer, it's a little bit of a mixed bag. I like how clean and crisp this screen is, but like, look at all of this unused real estate. Plus, sometimes it can seem a little laggy, just a little bit slow. And some of my colleagues at Edmunds, they said that they've had problems with it just randomly disconnecting their phone. But I do have to say, Jeep's voice command, it's pretty good. Turn on the heated seats.
I've turned the heated seat on.
Now, none of your devices should ever go dead in this vehicle because there are USB ports everywhere. And if there's a USB-A port, there is a USB-C port as well. So I've got 6 up here. I've got 2 in here. I've got more here for the second row. I've got more for the third row. Plus, I also have a 120 volt. I've got a 12 volt. I mean, like blah, blah, blah. Listen, if your device goes dead, I don't know what to tell you. Now, all of our vehicles can be optioned with screens in the second row, along with some kind of streaming service. Now, between this Ford and the Chevrolet, when it comes to technology, it's kind of a toss-up, right? I mean, I do love this large screen that I get in the Ford. The Sync 4A menu structure, it's really easy to understand. This all is just super easy to use. There's games, it's cool, I really like it. Now, the Tahoe screen is also really easy to navigate, and wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto both come standard. The Tahoe doesn't have quite as many USB ports as the Wagoneer, but hey, at least every seat has one. But one note for Jeep, look how easy it is to access my camera here. Like, I don't have to go through any menu structure. It's great. But look, it's not all about bells and whistles, right? I mean, at some point, you're actually gonna have to get behind the wheel of these bad boys. And here's the thing, if you want the nicest ride, you are gonna have to pay extra. So we really like that our Jeep comes with a standard 3-liter inline-6 turbocharged engine. It's putting out 420 horsepower and 468 pound-feet of torque. Now, we do have the optional air suspension here, and I have to tell you, you guys, this is what everybody on set today wants to drive because the ride is absolutely so smooth. It is the best riding one of the bunch. But remember, this air suspension plus any of Jeep's well-known off-road capabilities, you're gonna have to shell out some cash. Now, if you actually want a V8, you're gonna have to stick with the Chevy Tahoe. Here you'll get an awesome sounding 6.2-liter V8 with 420 horsepower and 460 pound-feet of torque. Yeah, buddy! This is an upgrade over the base engine, and it ain't cheap. The Tahoe's standard 5.3 liter V8, it just doesn't have the grunt to keep up with the other trucks, and frankly, I'd shell out more money for a bigger engine and better noise. The Tahoe is the only one to offer a diesel, and it's pretty efficient and it makes a lot of torque. Now you can choose to have the standard suspension or air suspension, but frankly, I really like this MagneRide suspension. I feel like it soaks up the bumps really well and it keeps the ride from being too floaty. However, you're still gonna feel it when you go around the turns, trust me. This is not a well-handling vehicle. So as it sits, the Expedition definitely has the worst ride quality of all of our SUVs today. I mean, part of that is because it has the standard suspension, but also the 22-inch wheels don't really do it much of a favor. I mean, the ride is just so very harsh. Now, having said that, I do like this 3.5 liter turbocharged V6. It pulls really well off the line, and the 10-speed automatic, you guys, it's a dream. So while the Wagoneer only has one engine offered, you can get a smaller V8 or a diesel in the Tahoe. Ford does offer different tunes for the V6, so y'all got options. And look, about that ride, you can get adaptive suspension for some extra cash. I recommend it. It really improves the ride quality of the Expedition. Now, fuel economy on all of these vehicles, I mean, you guys, like, it's not great, right? I'm driving a giant box and I'm slamming it through the air. It's gonna be terrible. If you're looking at fuel economy, well, the Wagoneer has the most efficient gas engine, but we do have a diesel in the mix here with the Chevrolet, and that can net you up to 24 miles per gallon combined. Now, look, when it comes to value, the Jeep is the nicest vehicle here, right? I keep talking about all of these standard features, but the thing is, it also has the highest starting price. You're not gonna get that great engine plus leather seats for free, everybody. As they sit, the Jeep is almost $90,000. Now, there are some ways to lower that price a little bit. If you ditch the rear seats and the heavy-duty tow package on our tester, you would save at least $6,000. The Ford Expedition is at $85,000, and that Tahoe, you're looking at $82,000. Now, if you're willing to live with cloth seats, maybe a smaller screen and a smaller engine, you can get the price down in the Ford or the Chevy. In fact, in the Ford, if you nix the third row and then just say, like, I don't need any comfort or convenience features, and you go with the base engine, that thing will cost you $58,000. But when you consider all of the standard features, the excellent utility, and just the overall upscale look and feel of the Jeep, you just get a little bit more bang for your buck when you purchase the Wagoneer. Now look, in case you, I don't know, haven't been paying attention, maybe you've like scrolled through the video to get here, look, the Wagoneer is the one that wins. Yes, the Ford and the Chevy, like they've been around for a really long time, but the Jeep with all of its capability, all of its luxury features, and it's just all around refinement, I mean, it just takes it. Now look, if you're unhappy with the results, well, don't worry. 2025 is going to bring us a refreshed Tahoe, which might make it just a little bit more competitive. And I have a feeling that Ford is going to up its game on the Expedition, which might make it more of a contender. So who knows? Next year, maybe the Ford or the Chevy will take back the crown. I mean, it's really easy to get in and out of because I can just press that button and look, the second row slides forward. Don't you beep at me. Echo, 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 echo.